Welcome to Girl's Guide to the Military. I'm Amanda Huffman and I'm sharing today about the 4 main types of disqualifications for MEPS. The Military Entrance Processing Station. You might think that when you go to MEPS the only disqualification is medical, and that is the most common, but actually there are 4 common disqualifications at MEPS. They are medical disqualification, law disqualification, alcohol and drug disqualification, and other disqualifications, which is a hodgepodge mix of different disqualifications that you might not be aware of. So let's go into these 4 categories of disqualification and see if there's anything that you need to be aware of before heading off to MEPS. There are a number of medical disqualifications that can prevent you from serving in the military. I'll provide a link in the description with some of the most common. But let's talk about more than just medical health, but think about your dental records and any issues you have with your teeth is a medical disqualification, your ears, your hearing, any endocrine and metabolic disorders is a common disqualification. The military is going to do a full physical when you go to MEPS, and they're going to be looking for anything that isn't normal, and that's why they have you take off all your clothes except for your bra and underwear when you do the mobility exercises, so they can see anything that might be out of place. A doctor is also going to look you down from top to bottom and with no clothes on and do a full physical to check for anything that they could be concerned with. They're going to check your heart, they're going to check your hearing, they're going to check your eyesight, they're going to check everything that they can. So when you're going to MEPS, be prepared for them to check everything, and make sure you talk to your recruiter about any medical disqualifications you might be concerned with. Let's go on to the second common disqualification, which is law disqualification. When it comes to joining the military is looking for members with good moral character, and one of the ways they determine this is by looking at your criminal record. And although having felonies or other misdemeanors is not something that always prohibits you from joining the military, there are waivers. Anyone that is under any formal judicial restraint at the current time cannot join the military, and so if you are under parole or if you are in any of those types of circumstances, make sure you talk to your recruiter and get that sorted out before you head off to MEPS. And if you have a criminal record, make sure you talk to your recruiter about it so that you can start working on the waiver process and get that taken care of. Having a criminal record is not an automatic disqualification, but it is something to be aware about if you're planning to join the military and have those concerns. So let's move on to number 3, alcohol and drug disqualification. The next disqualification is alcohol and drug use. The military has a very strict policy when it comes to alcohol and drugs. When you are at MEPS, you will take a breathalyzer and you will do a drug test, and they are checking to make sure that you don't have any drugs or alcohol in your system. And although underage drinking is something that the military frowns upon, there are waivers if you have that in your record, so that's not an automatic disqualification. And the military is pretty strict when it comes to drug disqualification for heroin, cocaine, ecstasy. So make sure that you talk to your recruiter about any of the drugs you have taken or any concerns that you have. The military also does not allow for marijuana use, even though it is legal in some states. All military members are still not allowed to use marijuana while serving in uniform, so that's something that you need to be aware of when you're heading off to MEPS, especially because you'll be doing a drug test. So those are things to be aware of because that can lead to you being disqualified from military service. So we'll head on to the last category, which is other disqualifications. The last common category for disqualifications is other, so it's really a hodgepodge of different disqualifications all mixed together in one. A lot of them center around past military service and the rules for re-enlisting, especially if you did not leave the military with an honorable discharge. The other main disqualification, that's something that to be aware of, is if you fail to meet height and weight standards. This can either be being overweight or being underweight. I've talked to a number of women who struggled to meet weight when they were first joining the military, so failure to be within the height and weight standards. And then the last main thing that is covered in the other category is lying on any part of your medical record, any part of your paperwork that you are completing for military service. This can be on your past medical history or anything else that you tell the recruiter. So having good moral character leads to telling the truth, and if the military finds out that you're not telling the truth, that is an automatic disqualification from service. I hope this video helps you understand the different disqualifications. I know when I started doing research about MEPS, I was really only thinking about medical disqualifications and didn't realize that there are actually more disqualifications than just medical. So if there's something that you didn't know about before you watch this video, make sure that you go and talk to your recruiter and let them know about any of your concerns. And I also will link to my sources that I used for the video in the description below to help you as you join the military. I will also link to my Girl's Guide to the Military that answers questions all about military life. And if you like this video, please like it and subscribe to this channel for more content about what you need to know when joining the military.